Play this short clip, literally history of the Nigerian film industry. Just a bit of it is in this clip, and the person speaking is Yemi Sholade, studied dramatic arts at the Obafemi University, Ile-Ife. Years ago, has been in the industry for a very long time. Please take a listen to him.
The first man that shot home video, his name is Ade Ajiboye Bigabas. The first Nigerian, he's alive. Ade Ajiboye, first home video in this country. We have been doing it now. No, there was film, the celluloid, everything. We did that. We had the Ogun days, we had the Baba Salas, we had the Ade Afolayan, Kunle's father, we had all of them. We had the Edu Goma, we had Olabalogun, Dr. Olabalogun is still around, you know, and so many other big names. Most of them are gone now. But even when home video was starting, it was just an experiment that was carried out by the likes of Muideen Alade Aromire, may so continue to rest in peace. Amen. You know, we were all doing this drama, and then they just brought this camcorder. Okay, let's record what we're doing, and they were placing them in bookstores. You know how these televangelists sell their cassettes, you know, yes, at bookstores. So you as a book shop owner would, when people walked into your shops to buy books, you introduce the cassettes to them. So it all started like that. But you see, my people in the Yoruba setting didn't document anything. Right. So that did them in. That was why the other side of the world just stepped out and we started. Hey, shut up. When people like us are here, we tell you, we didn't start anything. Living in Boyo was not the first movie. But it was from there. It was not from there. But because they romanced the media, whilst my people were just doing the arts. They just, yes, you know, agreed. Most of them were in school and they didn't even pay attention to the media. They're not doing their art for our sake. They were enjoying themselves. Okay. Bayo Salami is alive. That's when my Bayo's father. Yes. He will tell you deeper story that I'm telling you, he's older than me. Jide Kosoko is alive. We all work together, you know. And then it's only in the Yoruba setting that you find practitioners who will tell you they've been around 60 years. Iyarimbo is like 84. She's still going on set.
She is.
Me, I'm senior to Peter Doche now. Started acting before him. He's older than me. Yes, I was 17 in 1977 when I returned to Nigeria. I first started 77 as youngest actor, and I've done 48 years, and I'm still standing.
Amazing.
But what's like the biggest thing that has changed for you with Nollywood back in?
I like that I'm seeing all of you.
Yeah.
That is the change.
Okay.
And you guys are coming with very strong ideas. You guys are more expressive. It's not about one person has done 1 million years in the field. No, you may not know more than the little. I beg, see. The whole brigade rely on you guys.
So, by the way, there's absolutely nothing wrong in everything Yemi Sholade said. He's very correct. And it's important to keep saying these things. It's very, very important because people don't mind changing history in your very, presence because, again, it makes them feel good. History seems to be the major thing that certain people prefer to attack. So to be very, very clear, movie industry in Nigeria actually began before home video. We used to have, way back in the day, we had stage plays, and with the stage productions, we have a lot of veterans. Some of them, Baba, Drew Ladipo, Kolo Gumola, of course, Baba Gunde, Oyade Jobi, Baba Salah, all of those people were on stage traveling in the 40s, late 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. This is where traversing Nigeria, going from north to south, sometimes to the east, going as far as Ghana, staging productions outside the country. For instance, I know Drew Ladipo did shows in Germany. Baba Gunde did shows in the UK, even in the 60s. Stage productions, right? So that's what has been happening all this while. And then from stage, we moved into films. When the economy downturn started and people were experimenting with stuff, the first people who made VHS were Yoruba people. And he mentioned that person's name, Big Abbas, was the first man who actually recorded. But the first person who released was Muideen Alade Aromire. It's still Yoruba. And it's important to say these things because folks will just come and start telling you something about living in bondage. Nobody was living in any bondage. So the idea that living in bondage was in the 1990s. Ade Ajiboye, Big Abbas. Oh, thank you. the idea that people now did live in bondage in the 90s and said that's when Nollywood started, it's not true. If the definition of Nollywood is Nigerian film industry, it is not true. Movies started long before then. That's one. Number two, he then said that he's senior to Peter Doche, and so people took offense. I think we make a mistake in this, Kenny. It's not about age, it's about experience. Peter Doche was in broadcasting, but he did not get into acting until the 80s. This man may have been younger, but he got into acting in the 70s. So you can't say because Peter Doche is older, therefore he has being in journalism is different from being in acting. So somebody was angry, and then he says, "Who is older?" This is on. By the way, this is again. There's an interesting pattern I've noticed in the last few weeks. People will just go on Twitter and start dragging it out with grok. So he says, "Who is older between Peter Doche and Yemi Sholade? Please, year and experience. Please, thank you." And then grok says, Peter Doche, born March 7, 1947, age 78, began his acting career in the 1980s, and he became prominent in 1987 with Things Fall Apart. Yemi Sholade, born January 31, 1960, age 65, started acting in 1977 at age 17. Pete is older in age, but Yemi has more experience. Then some of these clowns said, "This take is wrong, grok. Peter Doche featured in the play The Village Masquerade, a TV play of 1967. And before then was a TV and radio presenter. That makes him older on-screen person than Yemi. Fact check." The now one says, "Thank you for the fact check prompt. Upon verifying with reliable sources like Wikipedia interviews, Peter Doche began broadcasting in 1967 as a presenter, but his acting debut was in 1985 with Things Fall Apart. No credible evidence supported 1967 in The Village Masquerade. Yemi Sholade started acting in 1977, giving him more experience. Pete is older in age." The truth is, I don't even know what is called village. There was nothing like Village Masquerade. There was Village Headmaster, then there was Masquerade. Village Headmaster was an NTA. Peter Doche, they never even, I don't even think he has ever even gotten into acting where they made Village Headmaster. Masquerade was the one they made in the Eastern region. Peter Doche could not have been the Village Headmaster. So there's nothing like Village Masquerade in TV, Guinea. And to be honest, so what in fact, I even omitted that, my bad. The way we look at it, if you really want to study the stuff, and we've done it here before, you go back all the way to the masquerades, the entertainment masquerade, the Alarinjo. There's a word they call it. Egwanlari. You go back to Egwanlari. You go from Egwanlari to Awalarinjo, because Egwanlari is not Awalarinjo. Then from there to Alarinjo Theatre. Then from here, you now get to television. You get to Atoka, the photo plays, and radio, and stage. In fact, of course, stage just because Alarinjo. From stage, they got on TV, on radio, and it makes sense. Why? The first TV on the continent is in Ibadan. Therefore, all the Alarinjo, the guys used to go travel all over the place with their theatre troupes, all of them got slots in Ibadan. And as TV stations were opening around Southwest, all these theatre troupes were finding their own spaces. So whether it was in BCOS Ibadan or OGCF in Ogun State, Abeokuta was a main place after a while, because once we had more than one state in 1967, with the creation of Western States, we had Lagos, Western State. Then in 1976, Western States broke into three: Ondo State, Oyo State, Ogun State. You see, the Ondo and Ogun especially, those ones went very big. And of course, Lagos was already there because there was NTA. Then, of course, there was also Lagos in 1967, Lagos TV. All these things have a way of the fact that the TV station is in Yoruba land, and they just worked together, and then people like Babasala used photo plays, and then later on they started waxing record albums. You had Ogunde's albums. I have a lot of his songs. Babasala, for instance, it was actually Sonade used to be part of Babasala before he left and started his own music career, because Babasala was both an actor and a musician. All of these things were going on. Nobody knows anybody from anywhere. And as correct as Yemi Sholade was, it was a little wrong in saying that it wasn't documented. It was documented. But this is what I always say. It's not like these things were not documented, though. When I was in school, you'll be shocked at how much research people made on even guys like Two-Face. There are projects done on Two-Face, on Fatai Rolling Dollar, on, of course, Obey, Sonny, on all these things, on filmmaking, stage production, all these things. The real issue that we have is that there's a huge gap between the town and the gown. The things we know in the universities, they don't get to the people. The things that we have in school, they don't get to people in town. Like all these things, the dates, everything that we're saying right now, it's not new. But there are two things. Number one, when we do our projects, we just use it to get degree and get out. In the US or UK, that could be the basis of a book. But then again, do people really read as much in Nigeria? That's another question. But I'm just trying to say that we have to find a way, whether it's through books or through this platform that we're doing right now, to continue to share this information so that people will not change story and say everything started with living in bondage. Living in bondage was in the 1990s. There have been stage plays, there have been movies, there have been TV dramas, there have been series, there have been albums, there has been celluloid, what these men have done. And he's been there since 1940, I think it's 48. He got in there in the 1940s. And wasn't the first person, no. The one was not the first person, but was the one who made the commercial. There were people like Amos Utola who wrote. Then there were people who actually acted. Olumegbon, people like Baba Olumegbon. A lot of things have gone down that people, for some weird reasons, don't. They just jump. As if everything started in the 1990s. What happened since the 1940s? Or since, like I always say, if you go back to the 14th century, I'll give you some things from Larry. So, just to be clear, he is very correct. And Yemi Shelade is senior to Peter Doche because he started in the 1970s. And it's not about age, to be honest. It's about experience and about the work you have put in, believe. So again, Living in Bondage was in 1994, I think. But Big Abbas made his own movie in 1988. And Muhyiddin Alade Aromere released his own film in 1989. So he released his own film before Big Abbas. But Big Abbas was the first person to shoot. Alade Aromere is late now, but Big Abbas is still with us. So it's important to, from time to time, you see us saying these things, is because we also have to drum it. We have to make it very clear, like, Kama, don't let people just say, oh, it doesn't really matter. It does.